Last month, when the US Secretary of State called on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, there was a promise of help to get a permanent seat at the UN Security Council. That assurance is a big shot in the arm for India, given that it was in fact the United States of America that once opposed India's candidacy, raking the nuclear non-proliferation treaty issue. Now, after the recent turn of events, will Obama walk the talk at the UN?
India is concentrating on building up its own bid for the UNSC reforms and the UNSC seats. In fact, in New York today, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj is slated to meet two groups of countries. One is the IPSA, which is Brazil and South Africa, and apart from that, Sushma is also slated to meet the SAARC countries. She's also met up with the leaders of countries from UK, Norway, Greece, Sudan and Maldives.
A day before Prime Minister Narendra Modi makes his maiden speech at the UN General Assembly, India is pushing for reforms in the world body. Indian officials led by the External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj are reaching out to various member countries to seek support for India's bid for a permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council.
The only time the Security Council has been reformed was in 1963. So we are therefore at an end of a period where without reform, the entire credibility of the Security Council will be in tatters. India has been among the countries which have been at the forefront of calling for this reform. And we believe that when the United Nations 1 year from now marks the 70th anniversary, then that is the time for this reform to be agreed to.
Sources in the Ministry of External Affairs say India is looking at a 1-year deadline for the UNSC expansion. This deadline, they say, has been fixed to prepare a case for reforms in the United States Security Council.
India needs 129 votes for this particular reforms to go through, and that's exactly what the Indian side is concentrating on, getting more and more countries on its side. On the last count, about 119 countries had come down to giving support to India. That's 10 short of the magic number of about 129 that the Indian side is looking at.
Of the P5 or the 5 permanent UNSC members, the US has pledged to back India for a permanent seat on the high table.
We salute India's long history as a leading contributor to United Nations peacekeeping missions. And we welcome India as it prepares to take its seat on the United Nations Security Council.
But that was Barack Obama 4 years ago. And with little movement on UNSC reform, India has decided to lobby for change to reflect today's global scenario. With Navika in New York, Sharoni Sen, Times Now.